California Screamin, now known as the Incredicoaster, is an extreme roller coaster built by Intamin Amusement Rides. It opened on February 8, 2001 with Disney's California Adventure Park and has been operating ever since. Now as a kid, this was probably my favorite attraction at any park in the world. Not only was California Screamin big, it was long, and it had an amazing soundtrack to back it. Lengths of 6,072 feet, speeds of 55 miles per hour, and a singular vertical loop made all the appeal. But the idea behind the ride was a bit of an odd one. Originally thought up in 1998, California Screamin was first intended to be a traditional wooden roller coaster. Reason being, it was to sit in a section of the park dubbed Paradise Pier, which was supposed to take inspiration from seaside amusement parks, the most heavy influence coming from the Santa Monica Pier and Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Clearly, the coaster isn't wooden though, right? Right. Given the short lifespans, long dispatch intervals, and constant upkeep of traditional wooden roller coasters, Imagineers at Disney sought to keep the story alive by opting for a steel coaster dressed as a wooden one. And so, Disney worked with the coaster's manufacturer, Intamin, to design a unique support structure that would reflect that of a wooden roller coaster. Although this was more expensive, the turnout was great. This also allowed for a bit of added theming, with a giant Mickey head being placed behind the ride's signature element, a vertical loop. This, on top of an incredible light package, made California Screamin a particularly popular attraction. By 2007, the ride received a new temporary musical score as part of the Rockin' Both Parks campaign, and 2008 and 2009 saw the Mickey head removed and replaced with the Paradise Pier logo. That's how I remember it. Back to its original soundtrack though, the ride stayed more or less the same until 2018. The California Screamin experience is the one I'll spend the most time on today. Starting with the turnout of its dual loading station, the ride begins with an intense launch from 0 to 55 miles per hour in 4 seconds. This might sound a little unimpressive on paper, but what the ride delivers is pretty awesome. Thanks to its location and sound score at the time, the coaster takes off after a number of spiels similar to this.
Here you go, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!
It then accelerates off the LIM launch with water shooting up along the train's path as it makes its way to the first airtime hill. And I will say, I remember this being my first real experience with airtime, this hill right here, and it's a pretty solid one to this day for me. The ride then comes back down and takes an extended turnaround, putting it on the second LIM boost up to the ride's highest point at 108 feet. Here, the coaster drops back down, entering another turnaround, and then the iconic vertical loop. A third drop is followed after this along some intense bunny hills, and a grand finish into some helixes. Overall, the ride experience lasts about 2 minutes and 36 seconds, making it the 6th longest roller coaster in the world to this day. Now, if you aren't familiar with Disney though, you may be disappointed to learn that this is an experience you can't fully get anymore. In 2018, the entire attraction was overhauled in conjunction with The Incredibles. Renamed the Incredicoaster, it now features repainted trains, new audio, new theming, and is just a completely different ride. Not that it's necessarily bad, but for a kid like me who grew up with California Screamin, it was hard to see it go. Still, the ride runs great and I definitely recommend it. I even got my grandma on it during COVID. If you'd like though, I'll plug a link to the original soundtrack in the description for you all to listen to. I truly need to give credit to this ride for getting me excited about coasters. I remember being 11 and crying on the first half, and then my dad looked at me and I was nothing more than excited. Like seriously, I remember the day that switch flipped for me. That exact moment. It was pretty cool. California Screamin was a must ever since then, and I still go out of my way to this day to ride it. It will always hold a spot in my top 30. With that said though, that is basically a relatively comprehensive history on California Screamin, and without saying too much more, please feel free to like and subscribe. It does help a lot, and I'm excited for our coming videos. Look out for a vlog on Friday from our previous Europe tour as well, and thank you all so much for being here. Seriously, go ride Incredicoaster, it's awesome. Anyways, we'll see you all there. See ya.